some feature. So this is the basic feature. I think we have done this basic feature in our regular class. Still, I will tell you. Hypha is like this structure. The cell-like structure is called hypha, and it is uninucleate. It may be uninucleate. It may be binucleate. It may be multinucleate. So this thread-like structure is called hypha, right? So it is filled with the protoplasm, and inside there are nucleus, right? The outer cover is cell wall. So basically, sometimes they ask what is the fungal cellulose, right? So the cell wall, that is the first question. The cell wall is made up of a complex sugar. So that is a complex sugar. The name is chitin. So what is chitin? Chitin is the material which make the cell wall of fungi. It is a complex polysaccharide, and it is also known as the fungus cellulose. So this is the question, fungus cellulose, right? Now, phenocytic condition, these are the basic things. So still I'll repeat, phenocytic condition. When single cell have multiple nucleus, so there is a one hypha which is filled with number of the nucleus. So this is called phenocytic condition, right? So multinucleate condition is also known as the phenocytic condition. When number of the hypha entangled with each other like hair-like structure, these are called mycelium. Okay. So this is called mycelium. When fungi have a filamentous branches of hypha, this is called mycelium. Now this is the classification of fungi. When we classify the fungi, look. So what is the basis of classification of fungi? So first basis of classification of fungi is reproduction. So if there is a sexual reproduction is not known. So there are some fungi where the sexual reproduction or sexual stage is not known. So how do they reproduce? So there is some other mechanism are also for the reproduction. For sake of example, vegetative propagation. When any body part breaks down, so that is called vegetative propagation. And another that is the asexual reproduction. So there are two different methods for the reproduction, right? So Chidika, you have to keep it noted down what are the questions, whatever the questions are, right? And I'm
Yes, sir.
pinpointing what are the questions. Like I have pinpointed that the composition, right? Rest of the thing, this is the classification. So was you there in this chapter when we studied this chapter in regular class?
Yes, sir. I was there.
Okay, so I think we need not to go with this one, or should we?
Can we just go through it once briefly?
Yeah, sure, sure. So I'll go through with it with the speed, right?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So the classification of fungi is done on the basis of mode of reproduction. That can be a question. That what is the basis of classification of fungi? So the sexual, there are some fungi where the sexual reproduction is not known. They reproduce asexually, or they reproduce with the vegetative propagation. So these fungi are called imperfecti, fungi imperfecti, and they have been kept in a class called Deuteromycota or Deuteromycetes. Same thing. So the name of the class is Deuteromycetes, right? So these are the fungi. Some of the scientists are saying, please try to understand. Some of the scientists are saying they are basically the fungi of Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes, which and here the sexual reproduction is not known, so they have been kept separately in Deuteromycetes. But basically they are Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes. Some scientists have this opinion, right? But in the nutshell, there are a group of fungi. There is a class of fungi called Deuteromycetes or fungi imperfecti. Here, the sexual reproduction is known. Second is sexual reproduction is known. On the basis of sexual reproduction, we have divided fungi into two different groups. Mycelium are aseptate. So septa, you must be aware with that. This is the cell wall. If there are, these are the different cells. So this hypha have been divided into cells, and the wall between two cells is called septa, right? If septa is present, we call the hypha is septate. There is a protoplasm and nucleus. So every cell have one nucleus. So septate fungi, the septate fungi are uninucleate hypha, right? Partially septate are those where in the septa there is a hole, and from this hole organelle or nucleus cannot cross, but protoplasm can cross from here to there. They can exchange the material. So they are called partially septate fungi. Aseptate fungi, where the septa is not present, the nucleus are roaming here and there. This is called cenocytic condition. So aseptate hypha have cenocytic condition. Cenocytic means unicellular and multinucleate condition, right? So if mycelium is septate, and mycelium is aseptate. So those fungi where mycelium is aseptate, they are called lower fungi or algal fungi. So that you have to keep in mind, algal fungi where mycelium is aseptate, and they have been grouped into two classes, oomycetes and zygomycetes. Next, mycelium is septate. They are called higher fungi, right? Higher fungi. They have been kept in two different classes, Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes. So basically, Ascomycetes is the name from a reproductive structure called Ascus. Basidiomycetes name on the basis of Basidia, a type of spore which is found over here. Zygomycetes, sexual reproduction through uh, uh, zygomystic process or conjugation, and oomycetes, this is also on the basis of sexual reproduction. So even the name have been kept on the basis of sexual reproduction or mode of the sexual reproduction. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In this classification, what is the important for you? What can be the question for you? First, fungi imperfecti, they have been kept in deuteromycetes. First question. Algal fungi, Phycomycota are called lower fungi or algal fungi. They have aseptate mycelium. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. These are basically the question. These type of the question have been asked. So I am telling you what are the questions. So classification is over. Classification of fungi we have already covered. Now we will cover one by one, right? So first class is deuteromycetes or deuteromycota. Same thing. So example is Alternaria solani, right? Alternaria. Alternania is a type of fungi which is deuteromycetes, under comes deuteromycetes or fungi imperfecti. This is responsible for a disease. This is the question for you. This is responsible for a disease called early blight disease of potato and tomato. Clear? What will be the question? Which fungi is responsible for early blight of potato and tomato? Alternaria solani is responsible for. That will be the question. So first thing that you have to note it down. Keep on noting down line the bullet format. This is the structure of Alternaria solani. This is the hypha. There are some branches called conidiophore. Four means branch. These are the spore, asexual sporangia called conidium, right? So this is asexual, it perform asexual reproduction. This deuteromycetes is also called artificial class of fungi, right? So this is also called artificial class of fungi. Why we call it artificial class of fungi? Because I have already told you they have been kept from different groups, artificial class of fungi, right? It includes all the fungi in which sexual reproduction is either absent or not known, right? Next, mycelium are usually septate, phenocytic condition is not known, right? Asexual reproduction occur through conidia, right? So this is structure of conidia. Even in some member, asexual reproduction is asexual spores are absent, right? So conidia is the second question, right? Asexual reproduction takes place through conidia. That is the second question. What is conidia? Conidia is asexual spore. Then there are two more examples. Coletotrichum fulgatum. Coletotrichum fulgatum is responsible for a disease called red rot of sugarcane. You must have seen sometime you chew the sugarcane and you see there are some red spot, blood red spot. These are basically because of this fungus Coletotrichum fulgatum. It causes red rot disease of sugarcane. It destroys the sugarcane production. Then there is one more fungi, Sarcospora. Sarcospora fungi is responsible for tick disease, right? All these three diseases are very important, and you have to remember they belong to deuteromycetes. Tell me, Kritika, clear or not?
Yes, sir.
You are noting down all the questions. What are the
Yes,
questions?
I'm noting it down.
Yeah. When you will solve the previous year question paper, you will find, Siddhika, that they are the frequently asked questions. But I am telling you.
Yes, sir.
Again, Very, very important example. Examples are important. What is the important in fungi? What can be the question in fungi? First thing, disease caused by fungi, or the disease which is caused by particular fungi, or the fungi which causes disease. Vice versa. Both kind of the question can come. Either they will give you the name of disease, they will ask you the name of fungi. Either they will give you the name of fungi and they will ask you the disease, right? So there are two kind of the question you will find frequently asked this question. First. Second, the second question will be from the spores, conidiospore, ascospore, chlamydospore. They won't ask you any question from the features of fungi, right? Okay. Oomycetes. The example is Phytophthora infeston, the most popular disease causing fungi. Phytophthora infeston. It causes late blight disease of potato. In the nutshell, potato tuber rot, right? In 1845, this question have been asked in multiple medical examinations. In 1845, this fungi destroyed the whole crop of potato in Ireland, and this was responsible for Great Irish Famine of 1845. This fungus was responsible for Great Irish Famine, right? Remember the year 1845.
Yes, sir.
Mycelium is cynocytic. This is aseptate and multinucleate, right? This is cynocytic mycelium, aseptate and multinucleate. Fungus contain cellulose and other member contain glucose, right? So that is important. This is the fungus which contains cellulose, right? Normally cellulose is not found in fungi. Next, asexual reproduction takes place through the zoospore, which are produced in sporangia. So this is hypha. This is sporangia. It has some spores known as zoosporum, right? These are the zoospores. So basically, zoospores are a type of spore. They have flagella and they can swim in the water. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So first thing, Phytophthora infeston. What disease is called? Late blight of potato. What the impact it have dropped on the society? Great Irish Famine. Second, the name of the spore is zoospore, and zoospore have flagella. It is motile. That is the main thing. Zoospores are biflagellate, biflagellate. Flagella are unequal in length. Sexual reproduction is oogamous, where male organ are antheridia and female organs are called oogonium. So on the basis of oogonium, the class is Oomycetes, right? Oogonium. Look, so this is the oogonium, a large female sex organ. This is the antheridium, a male sex organ. It puts a fertilization tube inside it. It drops a nucleus inside it. What is the fusion and formation of oospore takes place, right? So the reproduction is oogamous, right? So the reproduction is oogamous. That's why the name of this class is Oomycetes. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these were the important points. Phytophthora infeston. This is the life cycle of Phytophthora infeston. It is spread the lower side of the leaf. In lower side of the leaf, formation of these sporangia takes place. These spores come out and they spread through the water. Next is zygomycetes. Zygomycetes. This is called conjugation fungi. Why? Because sexual reproduction takes place through conjugation, right? This is by this process. So this is called conjugation fungi. So first thing, zygomycetes is called conjugation fungi. Why? Because reproduction takes place through conjugation process, right? First thing, so the rhizopus. Rhizopus is the representative of zygomycetes. These are rhizoids. Sporangiophore. There is sporangium. and they have sporangiosspore. These sporangium rupture and spore come out in the air. It is a terrestrial fungi, mostly saprophytic and rarely parasitic. Right? Saprophytic, you must be remember. I think it should be clear to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mycelium is cenocytic, means multinucleate. We have already discussed. Cell wall is made up of chitin. Nothing special is there. Every fungi have the chitin as a cell wall. Motile spores are absent. Okay, it is also not that much important. As asexual reproduction takes place through sporangiospore, that you need to remember. Sexual reproduction takes place through copulation or conjugation. That's why they are called conjugation fungi, right? In conjugation process, two hypha come close to each other. Both will develop sex organ. They get separated. Gamete gets separated. They fuses, and this process is called conjugation. Rhizopus is called black bread mold, right? Bread mold. So the fungi which grow on the bread and spoil the bread, that is called rhizopus. Mucor is dung mold. Dung mold, right? So dung mold, they are called caprophilus. What are the caprophilus? Remember? Tell me, Chitika.
No, sir.
Caprophilus, note it down, please. Caprophilus are those fungi which grow on dung of animals. Caprophilus are those fungi which grow on dung of animals, right?
Yes, sir.
So remember, mucor, you have to remember, I have made the star as well, right? So these were the points which were important over here. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Ascomycetes. Look. This is called morcella or moral, right? This is ascus and it have ascospore. There are 4 to 8 ascospores, right? 4 to 8. Look how the ascospore formation takes place. So first thing, formation of ascospore takes place through the sexual reproduction. Here,
yes, sir.
2 hypha fuses, and fusion of 2 hypha, 2 nucleus come to closure. This is called dikaryotic stage or dikaryon. 2 nucleus come in close, nucleus fuse. Fusion of nucleus is called karyogamy. Karyo means nucleus, gamy means fusion or marriage, right? Nucleus fuses. They form a diploid nucleus. After that diploid nucleus, meiosis takes place. First meiosis, right? Meiosis first. Formation of 4 haploid cell take place. 4 haploid cell takes place. Again, the second meiosis takes place. Sometimes second meiosis do not takes place. So if second meiosis takes place, there will be total 8 ascospore. But sometime when second meiosis do not takes place, there will be only 4 spore, right? This is the ascus. Ascus will have ascospore, right? There are 4 pair of genetically distinct ascospores. They include the pigmented mold. They may be brown, green, blue, pink in color. Very, very, very important. This was the question. Colored
Sir,
or
could you
pigmented.
repeat it? Could you repeat
They include pigmented mold. Means the member of this class have different color, right? They may be brown color, they may be of green color, they may be of blue color. Means the fungi which belongs to Ascomycetes, they may be colored fungi, right? So that's why they are called pigmented mold, right? They may be brown, green, blue, pink, or different color. So,
okay, sir.
yeah, this question have already been asked. The pigmented mold belong to which class? They belong to squamous. First question. Okay. Let me tell you, some pigmented fungus are very poisonous. Right? They are very poisonous. And the mushroom we eat that belong to Basidiomycetes, the last class which we will study. Right? And even these morals are also important. Morals. So there is a name of fungi, Gucci. Have you listened about that? Gucci?
No, sir.
No. Gucci is found in Himachal Pradesh. Himachal. I think you must have listened about it. Himachal Pradesh. Do you know?
Yes, sir.
It is found in Himachal. This Gucci, it is a type of moral. The diagram which you see, it look like same. Gucci is a type of fungi which is grown naturally. It cannot be cultivated. It grow itself naturally, right, in wild space. Gucci is the costliest vegetable of the world. On Indian currency, currently the rate of Gucci in Delhi is 30,000 per kilogram. That is the rate of this fungi. Right. It is very juicy kind of fungi, and it's very useful.
It's edible?
Yeah, it's edible. People use it. It's very juicy, edible, and normally the people make a vegetable of it in Himachal. In Himachal, you can get it free of cost as well in villages, but not elsewhere. It grows naturally.
So we can't grow it ourselves?
No, yeah, we can't grow it.
Okay.
I think it do not have seedling spores and all that, or there may be a reason that it can be grown in a particular environment, particular time period. So, but I know this is commercial, not grown, and it is the costliest vegetable of the world. And it's very rare as well. They include the pigmented gold and may be of brown, green, blue, pink color. They may be nutritionally saprophytic. Right? So they are saprophytic. Saprophytic decomposer. Caprophilous, again, right? Or parasitic. Caprophilous are fungi which grow on dung. I have written over here. So that I have already discussed. Septate mycelium only. So mycelium. Yeast is exception. That is the next question. They have septate mycelium. Yeast is the exception. Yeast is exception. Yeast is unicellular fungi. Clear? I think you must be aware with the yeast. So yeast belongs to Ascomycetes. This is exception. This is the only fungi which is unicellular fungi, right? Septa have central pore, means they are partially septate. Cell wall is made up of chitin. That is nothing different, which is called fungal cellulose. Motile structure are absent in life cycle. There is no wonder. Majority of Ascomycetes have common mode of asexual reproduction through conidia, right? This is the important. So asexual reproduction takes place through conidia. Conidia, like these kind of the spore, these branches are called conidiophore. One upon another, there is a conidia, right? Example is penicillium. Penicillium notatum is the fungi from where we get the medicine penicillin. Penicillin is antibiotic, right? Aspergillus and penicillin are two examples. You have to remember the example as well. Penicillium and Aspergillus belongs to this. Sexual reproduction takes place by the fusion of cells or gametangial contact. Fusion of cell, these two hypha will come, dikaryotic mycelium will be produced, and from this dikaryotic mycelium, this ascal will be produced. One more, gametangial contact. What is the gametangial contact? That you need to remember. It is important. In gametangial contact, there is one antheridia and where is a oogonium. Again, there will be conjugation bridge. They will insert nucleus and reproduction will take place. Example. Yeast is example which is used in baking industry or brewing industry. Aspergillus yield alcohol. Penicillium responsible for production of antibiotic. So you have to remember the example. So what do you need to remember here? Example, gametangial contact, conidia, yeast, pigmented mold, and number of ascospore in ascus. So inside ascus, there may be 4 or 8 ascospore. That is also a question. Tell me if you have any doubt.
No, sir.
Basidiomycetes. Mushroom belongs to this class. Basidiomycetes is called club fungi because they look like club. And normal the fungi structure you see, we study, this is the representative member of fungi, the most widely used and seen fungi. So they have, when they get mature, this part become cap, its gills. So gills are not meant for respiration; they are meant for reproduction, right? In the gills, there are they produce a spore. They are known basidiospore. Basidiospore, they fall down and germinate. This is called a stalk. This is the combination of hyphae. This is mushroom. The name of mushroom is Agaricus compastris. Clear?
Yes, sir.
The most important and the most important point of this fungi, they are the best decomposer. They are the basically best decomposer of wood. There is a capability to decompose the wood. Look, so there are two strong decomposers, bacteria and fungi. But if you get the question, which is the best or which is the strongest decomposer in the world, the answer will be fungi. Why? Bacteria are very powerful decomposer. Bacteria can decompose anything, but bacteria cannot decompose the wood because inside the wood there is a lignin and suberin. So would have two chemicals, lignin and suberin. Lignin and suberin cannot be decomposed by any bacteria. This is the only fungi which can decompose the wood because they can decompose the lignin. Is that clear, Siddhika?
Yes, sir.
Note it down this point, please. Basidiomycetes are considered the best decomposer of the world. They are considered the best decomposer of the world because they can decompose wood, in bracket, lignin and suberin can be decomposed. Lignin and suberin can be decomposed by fungi only. Bracket close. Clear? So next point
Yes,
is there.
sir.
Motile cells are absent. So motile cells are absent. The two type of mycelium, primary mycelium, they contain monokaryotic cell, and secondary mycelium which contain dikaryotic cell. Right? Means primary mycelium. So there is a primary mycelium which will means every cell will have one nucleus. Right? So they are called primary mycelium. In secondary mycelium, they have dikaryotic cell. What is dikaryotic cell? Means every cell will have two nucleus. So this is the dikaryotic cell, right? Primary mycelium multiply by asexual actually by conidia. So conidia is the second. This is the conidiospore. This is the conidiophore. So conidia is the second important question. The third, sexual reproduction do not involve the sex organ. It occurs through the fusion of hyphae, primary mycelium for fuse, and they form secondary mycelium take place, right? Like this way. This is the pilus. These are the gills. Here in the gills, there is a, so this is the diploid stage. There are diploid basidium. So this is the basidium. Every basidium will have 4 stigma. At the top of stigma, there are basidiospore. These basidiospore fell down. These basidiospore germinate. Basidiospore after germination, these basidiospore germinate, they form primary mycelium. So primary mycelium is haploid. Primary mycelium will fuse and they will form secondary mycelium. Here protoplasm fuses, but nucleus do not fuses. So they form secondary hypha or secondary hypha. These secondary hypha and secondary hypha, again, they will fuse. This nucleus will fuse and they will form basidiospore. This is the life cycle of basidiomycetes fungi, right? This is the question. This question I've been asked. Every basidium commonly produces 4 basidiospores. Primary mycelium are monokaryotic, secondary mycelium are dikaryotic. These all are the questions. Go through with it and let me know.
Done, sir.
Done?
Yes.
So these all are the questions. Okay. Okay, one more thing. Example. So what are the important? Primary mycelium important, secondary mycelium is important, right? Then conidiospore, conidiospore is important. Then every basidium have 4 basidiospore, that is important. 9 example. Very, very popular, very important example. It causes a disease called rust, right? Rust means black rust. The name of the fungi is Puccinia graminis. It causes black rust of wheat. It makes the wheat grain in the when it is itself in the plant, like in the cropping time period, they make wheat of black color, right? So they called it Puccinia graminis causes black rust of wheat. It destroys the wheat cropping. Ismuth. Ismuth is a disease which is caused in corn plant and it is caused by a fungi known as the astilago, right? Mushroom is Agaricus comprestis. So these smut and rust disease, they are frequently asked, multiple times they have been asked, right? So you have to remember this one. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this is all about the fungi. Go through with your NCRT and ask me if you have any question. I've explained every question of fungi, which is important for your medical. Let me know, Shidika, then we'll move to the next one.
1 second, sir. I'm just going
Yeah,
through
sure. Take your time. No issue.
No, sir. No doubts.
Mhm. If you'll prepare all these chapters right now, you'll be very comfortable and very confident while giving NEET after 12th examination, and you can crack it. There is no doubt. If you prepare like this way, like simultaneously, if you can do right along with your this 11th and 12th class study, definitely you can do. Shidika, go through with after the class, go through with the chapter Panjai, the questions which have been asked from the Panjai. You'll come to know you will be able to you will be able to do at least 80% question correctly. Fine.
Yes,
So
sir.
try it, try it. Now it comes to the plant classification. Plant. Now come to the plant thing, right? Classification of plant. So look, plant have been classified again on the basis of their reproduction, right? We have classified plant into two categories: cryptogam and phanerogams. So crypto means you must have listened about the cryptocurrency. The crypto term came from the biology only, right? Basically, these all terms are biologically basically originated in Europe, right? So the mother of language on that time in European language, right? They all originated from a dead language. The name of that language is. Do you know this thing that they all have been originated from a dead language?
Yes,
Have
sir.
any idea? So what is the name of that language?
Not sure.
Can you guess?
Latin?
Yeah, right. Latin is. They have been originated from because there are two ancient languages, Latin and Sanskrit. Sanskrit is very limited. It is right. This is the next language which is going to be like people are trying to say that which is going to uh, lose its relevance or it have lost the relevance and it is going to be like become what to say extinct because there are very few people who can speak this tough language. And the same thing with the Latin. Latin, nobody speak Latin. It is only in the research centers and all that. So all the languages, these Greek languages, all originated from Latin. So these are Latin. Crypto means hidden, and gami means marriage. Right. So what does it mean? Hidden marriage. It means the cryptogams are those plants where you cannot see the sex organ from the naked eye. The second one is phanerogams. Phanerogams are those where the sex organs are visible. Clear?
Yes, sir.
So plant have been divided in two categories, where you cannot see the sex organ, where you can see the sex organ. Cryptogam, phanerogam. Further, the cryptogams have been divided in three categories: Halophyta, Bryophyta, and Pteridophyta. Halophyta, basically, Halophyta, I have written over here, they have the thallus-like body, where the plant body, when root, the thallus-like body means the plant body where the root, stem, and leaves cannot be differentiated, right? You cannot differentiate where the root is, where the stem, where the leaves are there. So in Halophyta, it's algae. Now in Cryptogam, the second one is the Bryophyta, then Pteridophyta, then Gymnosperm and Angiosperm. Gymno means naked, sperm means seed. Angio means covered and sperm means seed. Right?
Yes, sir.
So Thallophyta, that was a sort of classification. So here I have mentioned on the basis of evolutionary history. Is it clear to you, or should I go through with it?
These are clear to me, sir.
Sorry,
These are clear.
these are clear. Yeah, I have discussed with you. So because these are the basics. There is no question for me. These are the conceptual built-up thing.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
the question do come from here. Now here I think you need to write it down again. The algae have been divided in three classes: chlorophyceae, pheophyceae, and rhodophyceae, on the basis of pigment or their color. Chlorophyceae is called green algae, pheophyceae is called brown algae, rhodophyceae is called red algae. Right. And for sake of example of algae, we have taken an example of Spirogyra. You can see this is the Spirogyra, right? Spirogyra. The Spirogyra itself, look, this is a thread-like structure where it have the outer covering is mucilaginous seed. It protects from dehydration, right? There is a cytoplasm. Again, there is a cell wall which is made up of cellulose. There is a vacuole. There are some bodies which are called pyronoids. They are food storage bodies. Try to understand. These pyronoids are found in chloroplast. Clear? They remains sunken in chloroplast, means stuck in chloroplast, deep inside chloroplast, right? The
Yes, sir.
pyronoid are food storing body. They store carbohydrate, protein, or fat, right? So pyronoid may be made up of carbohydrate, may be made up of protein, may be made up of fat. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, Siddhika, you have to learn this complete chart. It is given in your NCERT by heart. Because the maximum question will be from here. What are the pigment in the green algae? Chlorophyll A and B. Brown algae A and C, and fucoxanthin. Fucoxanthin is a pigment which gives brown algae, color to brown algae. Red algae, chlorophyll A and D. Phycoerythrin that give the red color, right? So first thing which is important for you, Siddhika, for the NEET, with respect to the NEET, that is the this pigment, right? Pigments are very important. You will get question. You will see the question in previous year question paper. Second most important thing, food storage. What is the so in green algae, this is the starch which is stored in pyronoid. In brown algae, this is mannitol and laminarin which is stored. In red algae, this is floridian starch which is stored, right? In green algae, the cell wall is made up of cellulose. In brown algae, it may be made up of cellulose and algin. Algin is a substance which is extracted from cell wall of brown algae. Shidika, the capsule which we eat in a medicine, the cover of that capsule is basically made up of algin, right? Then red algae, the cell wall is made up of
Made
cellulose,
up of what?
made up of algin, this material,
Okay.
right? The jelly basically you eat, that is made up of algin, right? And red algae, the cellulose, pectin, and pectin is cellulose and pectin, right? Come to the third column. So in rhodophyceae, the flagella or motile structure are absent, right? These
Yes,
points
sir.
where I have made the star, they are very important. Is that clear, Siddhika?
Yes, sir.
So these are the questions. You have to cram it by heart, whatever I have underlined. Now the representative structure or representative plant or representative algae is Chlamydomonas. So this is the structure of Chlamydomonas: flagella, plasma membrane, cell wall. They have cup-shaped chloroplast. This is important. They have cup-shaped chloroplast. Look this, and There is a nucleus. There is a pyrenoid. Pyrenoid is there. So in algae, again, the plant body organizes thallus-like structure, means root, stem, and leaves are not there. Plant body is not divided into stem, root, and leaves. No conducting tissue like xylem and phloem is found. No mechanical tissue, means woody structures are not found. No seed, fruit, flower. Food is stored in a structure called pyrenoid. Reproduction both sexual as well as asexual. So these are the general characteristic of fungi. So in general characteristic, you need to note it down. You need to remember major pigment, food, stored food, and composition of cell wall. That's it. Right, Ritika?
Yes, sir.
Now the first algae is green algae. Again, the chloroplast is a structure of the chloroplast is example of green algae. Chloroplast, Chlamydomonas is representative of green algae. We have discussed already. Chlamydomonas is unicellular algae. They are mostly aquatic, maybe marine or freshwater. This is not a question. Thallus-like body, very good. It's also not a question. Body is covered with mucilage. Vascular tissue absent. Mechanical tissue absent. Photosynthetic, they are photosynthetic. Grana are absent in chloroplast. That is the question. Okay, clear? Do you know the grana? Grana and stroma, Siddhika?
Could you just brief it up, please?
This one. This is the chloroplast, the organelle inside the cell, which is responsible for photosynthesis. Inside, this is double membrane. These are the membrane. They are the two membrane, outer and inner membrane, right? Inside membrane, there is a gel, which is called stroma. Ground substance is stroma. And there are some coin-like structure called grana. These grana, these are coin-like structure. These grana have the chlorophyll and they are responsible for photosynthesis.
Yes,
right?
sir.
So these grana are not found in green algae. Remember, in the chloroplast of green algae, grana are absent. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Next, asexual and sexual both reproduction found. Embryonic stage is absent. Next question. Embryonic stage is absent. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Economic importance. Chlorella and spirulina both are called space algae. That is a question exclusively for NEET examination. Chlorella, it purifies gases and it is used for sewage treatment. Sewage treatment question have been asked multiple times. I cannot tell you how many times. Spirulina is used as a food supplement in capsule. This is the most nutritious thing available on the earth. This is the most nutritious thing which you can eat on the earth. Clear?
Yes,
Next
sir.
question. Cephalosporus is an algae, which is parasitic algae. It is responsible for rust disease of tea and coffee. This question have been asked multiple times.
Which algae?
Cephalosporus. This is Cephalosporus. Cephalourous. ठीक है, Cephalosporus. It is responsible for rust disease of tea, right? Spirogyra is called water silk. It is responsible for algal bloom. Means it blocks the lake from the top, and because of that, animal underwater die because they do not get the oxygen. So this was all about the green algae. Go through with it and tell me if you have any doubt. So Shilika, keep it in or keep on noting down somewhere that what we did today, because in the next class we'll need it.
Yes, sir.
Today we did complete fungi, right? Algae and green algae. That's what we have completed. Go through with it and ask me if you have any doubt.
What's the difference between starch and Floridian starch?
There is just different in structure of granules, right? Breast is same. Both are the carbohydrate, complex carbohydrate. There is nothing different. As a chemical composition,
Okay.
there is nothing different. The only structure
Okay.
in the grain size, right?
Okay, sir. There's no more doubts, sir.
No? Okay, right? So fine. See you in next class. Okay, Sudhika?
Sir.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Bye.
Goodbye.
Good night.